Hi, everyone. Welcome to the meeting tonight. Notice of recording, please note that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast on Channel 18, and in accordance with MCL Chapter 30A20, we must inquire whether anyone is taping this meeting and to please make their presence known. No one? Great. Okay, we're going to start off with a roll call of the Recreation Commission members. After I say your name, just say here. Tony Lapola. Sharon Brown.
Here.
Alyssa Chase.
Here.
And James O'Leary. Looks like James is not here. Go back to my. All right. I have to ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting from the new members. Once again, when I say your name, or actually I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Do I need? Right. So we're going to vote on the meetings for last meeting. If you actually, on the minutes from last meeting, if you actually were not at the last meeting and you did not read the minutes, you do not have to vote. So again, I will start with Tony. Okay. Sharon Brown.
Approved.
Alyssa Chase.
Approved.
And Tim Luce approved. Any old business? I don't think so. New business. That's what we're all here for today, I guess. The Community Employee of the Year Awards. So I will turn it over to John Gleason.
Sure, yep. Mark Borley and myself, we're going to step down and we'll present the awards.
So we're honoring Claire Hazard today. She's a rec assistant for the HYCC, also a lifeguard for the Town of Barnstable Rec Department. She has been a lifeguard for 3 years, been employed with the HYCC for under one season, basically. She has been a great asset to us. She has helped with not only as a rec assistant for the public skating program, but she's also involved in the Learn to Skate program, helping us with that. She has a very busy schedule. This will be her 5th year as a varsity hockey player, 2 years as a varsity soccer player, and then being able to fit all the work that she does around that is quite amazing. She probably never has any time to sleep, but with that being said, this is in recognition of Claire Hazard.
Go in the middle and then we'll take a picture of you three. Yeah, just right in the middle.
Right by the seal.
Get out of the picture. Come on.
Hold on, if my wife is here, she'll tell me to move, make sure no one's in the background. There we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Congratulations, Claire. Just stay. We're going to do a big photo of everyone as well a little later. Good evening, John Gleason, Recreation Director. The next person to come up is our Program Coordinator, Jack Kapanke. He's going to talk about our after-school Rec Assistant of the Year. Unfortunately, that person can't be here tonight, but Jack is here to say some good things about that person, and then we'll present the award to him at a later date. So welcome up, Jack.
Hello, everyone. As John said, my name is Jack Kapanke, and I'm a program coordinator for the Recreation Division. I'm here today to honor Dan Bottolino with this year's Recreation Assistant of the Year Award. Dan was the coach for 4 different age groups of our basketball programs, as well as our spring flag football program and our 3 age levels of soccer. He's a recent Barnstable High School grad where he found major success in his sports broadcasting work for the school's B2B TV. Dan always put his best foot forward at our programs by bringing energy and positivity into the sports, but most importantly, he made strong connections with the kids and consistently provided them with fantastic program experiences. No matter the activity at hand or the score of a game, his enthusiasm for the programs was contagious, and the kids of our community were lucky to have him there, serving as a role model to them. Dan has a great sense of humor, a strong work ethic, and above all, a very bright future. So I wrote it as if he was here, so I just want to thank him for his hard work and the impact that he made in our community. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we're going to do the lifeguard of the year. And I believe our assistant director, George Noonan, is going to take on that role, who's responsible to hire all the lifeguards this year. Even though he wasn't a part of things last year, he knows a lot about the person and is going to say some great things.
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for having me. George Noonan, Assistant Director of Recreation. It is my pleasure to come up here and speak today about Helen Ajam as our lifeguard of the year. Helen has worked over this for the last 4 seasons and was a head guard the last 2. Last year, Sandy Neck, and this year at Craigville Beach. This past fall, John Gleason and I both had the opportunity to become certified lifeguards. And I got to tell you, it was quite an experience because, you see lifeguards, but you're never sure what kind of training they really go through. And John and I took a class that Tim McGrath taught us, and it really was an eye-opening experience. And it taught me a lot about what really their job entails. And then when I see someone like Helen, who works very hard at her craft, it gives you even greater respect for the work they do and the role they serve in the community. Helen is a leader in every sense of the word. This past Sunday, I was out at Craigville Beach, kind of quiet in the morning because of the foggy, kind of cloudy weather we had Sunday morning. And before I even got there, they were just getting ready to start a mock drill where they were training 2 lifeguards to make sure they knew their roles in a rescue emergency. Helen went out for a swim, pretending she was drowning. The guards activated the emergency action plan and responded to the drill. And after that, Helen and the supervisors of the beach took the guards that were involved in the drill upstairs and explained to them not what went wrong, but everything they did right and things that they could work on from there on. And that's just an example of the leadership that she shows. She is not the most talkative person, not a great person to text to sometimes either, but while at the beach, she is someone that all our other guards aspire to be like. She is a leader. She has great compassion, a great sense of humor. She's wonderful with the public. So she is a prime example of what we look for in the Aquatics Division for a Recreation Division. So it is with my great pleasure to thank Helen Ajam for working for the town of Barnstable and award her the Lifeguard of the Year award. So.
All right, I'm going to do the next 2 awards, and thanks for George for bailing me out. Last year, if some of you don't know, we went through 2 retirements and 2 resignations. So last year, at this time, I was doing about 2.5 jobs myself, and I hired all our aquatics team last year by myself, all the beach aides, the gate attendants, and all the lifeguards. So it was a privilege to have Helen receive that award. One thing George didn't mention, said a lot of great things, but Helen was a part of a big rescue last year at Sandy Neck that helped give a family a chance to say goodbye to someone. And Helen and her staff performed admirably, and her leadership skills are the reasons why she won. The next award is Olivia Wolf. She's our gate attendant. She's worked for us for numerous years, and I had the pleasure of hiring her a couple years ago. And quickly, she gained the respect of all the staff, and we knew we could put her at high-pressure locations. So if you're not aware, that place is definitely Craigville Beach, especially on the weekends. Handles a lot of traffic, a lot of customers. Not only the tourists, but we have a lot of residents that go to Craigville as well. So you're trying to uphold all the wishes of like your residents that want to go to the beach and then all your tourists. And she does a great job. I tried to convince her before last year to become a beach supervisor, and she was not willing to do that because she's so great. And she was a clear choice by the end of the season to be the gate attendant of the year. We tried to convince her one more time for this summer. Didn't succeed, but we're thrilled, beyond thrilled, that she's still with us as a gate attendant. We love when the kids come back to work for us. And she's not really a kid anymore. She just graduated college, and I think this is probably her last hurrah this summer working for us at the beach. But she's been a pleasure to get to know over these years, and I'm just really excited that when she made that decision to find a job, she chose us, and she stuck with us. So I'd like to have Olivia come up and congratulate her for the Gate Attendant of the Year. And I forgot to mention, before I do this last one in person, we also had a leisure program counselor that couldn't be with us tonight. And Michelle Davies, our coordinator that runs that program, is not here as well. But her name was Matea Donaldson. She's working for us again this summer, so we'll go out and do a presentation for her. But just wanted her name being mentioned during the meeting. But the last one in person is our Beach Aid of the Year. So typically, beach aides are, it's their first job, 14 to 15-year-olds, and Jack came to us. He had his older sister that was a gate attendant, so I think saw his older sister working for us, saw what it was like to work at the beach, was a beach aide last year at Craigville Beach, and fairly early in the season, I don't recall how far into the season, but we had a major emergency that we responded to at the bridge near Craigville Beach, the one that all the kids love to jump off. Even though there's signs that say do not jump off. And some kids were jumping off the bridge. One couldn't swim that well, so luckily his friends there helped save this child. But Jack was at the gate when these kids came running. He was helping the gate attendants break or do something. But he was the one to call 911 and acted very professionally, responded very quickly, very maturely, got EMS there quickly. So when they responded, they were kind of just pulling the person out of the water, so they were able to, treat this person. And so that was just one example of how excellent Jack is as a beach aide. Second major reason, again, we focus on a lot of these beaches like Colville's, Craigville, Dallas, our busiest beaches. Sometimes our awards geared towards more of those staff, not always. But if you've ever been to Craigville Beach at 8 o'clock at night, our staff comes in the next morning, and unfortunately we find a lot of trash because people leave it behind. They don't bring it with them, or they don't throw it into a dumpster. So a beach aide's job is to, essentially, that's their main role, is to pick up the beach. And Jack and another person have to cover all of Craigville Beach, the whole beach, the parking lot, go inside the bathrooms, check cars. When it's full, help out with that. And Jack did a phenomenal job last year. And again, we're very proud that Jack chose to come back to work for us again this year as a beach aide. And hopefully he continues on up the ladder to become a gate attendant, maybe a lifeguard, but to hopefully stay with us and move up the ranks. But Jack's a phenomenal worker, and would like to have Jack come up to receive his award. And then just one more thing before we go to the rest of the meeting. The Highness Youth and Community Center and the Recreation Division would like to thank Highline. Highline sponsored our awards tonight. So each recipient received 2 round-trip passes on the ferry to go over to the vineyard in Nantucket. So again, we just want to thank Highline for that generous donation. At some point, probably tomorrow at some point, we'll put it up on social media. So hopefully people in the community can like, share, comment, because again, we need all the positive feedback to get these kids to continue to work. As you're probably aware, it is a struggle to find kids to work and find jobs. So we always try to make sure that we provide them the best job environment we can. And it only encourages more kids to come when they see positive things from the community, thanking them for their service to the town. So I just wanted to say that before we continue. So thank you very much.
So anyone that was here for the awards does not have to stay if you don't want to. I mean, you're welcome to, of course. It's exhilarating. I guess no one wanted to stay. So the next item on the agenda for new business is a pickleball community update.
Tom, just make sure you touch it says push button, a green light will come on right below the mic, on the stand.
Testing, okay.
Yep.
How you doing? How you doing, Mark? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah.
Good, and you?
Good. My name is Tom Gilloli, and I'm the chairman of the Pickleball Committee, Barnstable Pickleball Committee here. This is Paul Gandolo. He's on our committee as well. We have 8 members. Renee King has asked through Paul that we come and just give a short presentation about the state of affairs, I guess, on Marston's Mills on the courts. I came here 7 years ago with Bill Dado and a number of other people when we didn't really have anything, and talked to the committee about pickleball. And we were kind of disappointed because not everybody on the committee knew about pickleball and thought it was kind of just a fad. We had only 14 to 20 people playing total. And as of today, we have 651 members. 65% of the members live in the town of Barnstable or have a second home in the town of Barnstable. So we're quite busy. We're still getting 10 to 15 new members a week. We project that we'll have over 800 members, and this isn't counting all the guests and all the tourists that come and play by the end of the year. In one sense, we've already outgrown our 10 courts. If you build it, they will come, and they are coming. This last week was our busiest week, the July 4th holiday, and we averaged about 120 to 130 people every morning from 8 to 12. We have organized play from 8 to 12, Monday through Saturday, where we have sign-up boards, and you sign up. There's intermediate, novice, intermediate, or advanced play. You sign up, and we have a court monitor, volunteer, and we take turns. And whoever's next, we call the group up. They play one game to 11, win by 2, and then come off and sign up again. So we get everybody moving. And we put, right away in the mornings, now in the summer, we put 6 temporary courts, pickleball courts up on the tennis courts. So we have, ideally, 16 courts going at once. So it gets quite hectic. Sometimes we have 30, 40 people waiting to play. One person comes to play tennis, and we move 4 of the courts, 4 of the temporary courts, so we have 2 left, so they have a tennis courts. The committee worked with John this winter. We requested if we could have the tennis courts during the month of June, July, and August from 8 to 12, Monday through Saturday, exclusively for us to put the temporary courts up. We anticipated this amount of play, and John was very supportive, but he has somebody to answer to, too. The Consumer Service Director, is it? And at the time, he declined and said that he needed some data, and which is fair. And so we've been collecting data every day at the busiest time, around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we count the number of people playing tennis, and we count the number of people playing pickleball. So just to give you a quick idea, the month of May, we had 970 people playing pickleball, and 16 people playing tennis. In June, we have almost 1,300 people playing pickleball, 22 people playing tennis. And as of July 10th, yesterday, we had 747 people playing pickleball, 10 people playing tennis. So I'm here just to hopefully gather your support in talking maybe at some point to, I guess there's a new consumer service director, to see if it's possible for the rest of July and August from 8 to 12, Monday through Saturday, to see if we could have exclusive rights to the tennis courts. Typically, we have 1, maybe 2 tennis people playing, as we have 120 people playing pickleball. But that 1 or 2, we have to take down the nets. So it's hard. But we do it, and we get a lot of grief from the other members about why we can't have the tennis courts, and we try to tell them that they have first dibs, and we have to take down the nets. So anything you can do to convince the new director to maybe through June, July, and August, that's what we're asking, basically Memorial Day to Labor Day, to have exclusive rights of the tennis courts from 8 to 12, Monday through Saturday, would be clearly appreciative of our membership. That's pretty much it. I mean, we have now electricity in the shed, which is nice. We have leaf blowers to help dry off the courts, and battery operated, so we can plug them in, and that's been a big help. We're getting more. We would love to have plumbed for water someday. Everybody brings their own water container, but if that's something that we can push the DPW to do, eventually have some kind of water fountain or some kind of spigot so that people can get water. It's been awful hot. And although everybody brings something to drink, it goes fast. And they're often wanting to know if there's any way they can get some more water. Some people sometimes have brought some jugs, but in any case, that's another thing that we would like to have.
May I add?
Sure.
People come from all around the Cape, from Plymouth, etc. These are considered the best courts they've ever played on. John, the best courts they've ever played on, without question. We also have bought an AED, and a bunch of us are going through training.
Hey, Paul, could you just speak into the mic so people on TV
Yeah,
could probably hear you? Thank you.
Best courts on the Cape, without question. We bought an AED. We're all 7 or 8 of us are going through training through fire department in a couple weeks. We provide the balls, the organization. We have a sign-up sheet for people to be monitors. So people take this responsibility. It's not easy. When you've got 8 to 10 sets of 4 people waiting to get on the court, screaming, "Am I on? Which court?" It is not easy. All this is volunteer, and I'm here to prove this is not just an old person sport, okay? This is for us younger people as well. Thank you, John. Appreciate that, laughing. John used to play when he was younger.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a synopsis of what we're about and what we do. Does anybody have any questions?
At the beginning, you mentioned if 1 or 2 people show up to play tennis, you guys have to move. Like, does one person? I mean, how do you play tennis by yourself?
Sometimes they bring a bag of balls
And just okay,
and they're just hitting it.
gotcha,
So we have to take 4 of the courts aside so they can play.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And that happens more often than not.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of people come up. They got a tennis machine there.
Tom, just
the
speak in the mic
microphone.
so they
I'm
can
sorry.
hear you. That's okay.
So they come with their machine, their tennis machine that spits out the balls to them, and they hit them back and forth. And sometimes there's 2. One day a week on a Wednesday, there's a group of 4 that do come. I will say that they're pretty regular. But other than that, 1 or 2 come here and there. Sometimes not the whole day. Sometimes 1. But there's a lot. I know there's a lot of other tennis courts in town. I understand that the high school is also. I don't know if they finished, but they were going to put a half a dozen more tennis courts in. So I know there's 2 nice ones in Austerville. There's 2 nice ones in West Barnstable there, in the back of the little elementary school there on 6A. And I think there's something in Katuitt as well.
There's 2 in Katuitt.
So in any case, that's probably our biggest concern is the tennis courts. And if there's any way, we feel like of all the fields and courts in town, we're the busiest, except for the beaches, and we try to organize and clean up as much as we can and take care of the courts, dry them off. We have all kinds of squeegees and leaf blowers, and we get there early so we can set up the 6 temporary courts and dry them off like on a day like today. Tomorrow we'll be doing that in the morning. So we do run a very, very nice organized group. As Paul said, we get people from all over, and they're very appreciative of how organized it is, as opposed to just taking a court and just staying there and not let anybody else play on it for an hour and so on. So that's anything else. Go ahead.
Yeah. You said earlier about was this a fad when we started presenting like 5, 6, 7 years ago. They're going to now have national collegiate championships. They're having high school championships. It's being brought into schools at grammar school level. There's a major pro pickleball league. It is just growing through the roof. And what makes it different as a person who tried a bunch of sports, you can keep playing it. It is so rewarding to hit that little ball over and over. I never tried golf because it drives him crazy and others, but it is so rewarding. It doesn't matter your level. I get beat by 80-year-olds, and I'm only, 26, 27, and that's very frustrating. You get all sorts of people showing up. Quick story, Irina, a Russian woman, she's 50, had never played any sports in her life. She jumps up and down when she hits the ball, and she is so good, so quick, it's very frustrating to play against her. This is not a fad. It is not going away. I would bet my life on it. Truly, I would. And I say this, one last thing. How much am I betting? I recently found a sale at, what's the store on Main?
Butlers?
No.
Hanlon's?
Hanlon's. So convinced they had some shoes on sale. I bought 5 pair. I have 5 pair of those shoes. I'm so convinced I'm going to keep playing the sport.
Well, if you play every day, about every 4 months, you need new sneakers, but outdoors. But so that's about it. Anybody have any questions?
Maybe just some context, because we have a lot of new rec commissioners. We do have a master use agreement with Barnstable Pickleball, so that's why they have the opportunity to play Monday through Saturday from 8 to 12. And in that, they are generous to provide the volunteers to help monitor the play. And our biggest thing has always been free access, which they help that out. So when someone's there, they don't have to wait 2 hours for someone to get off a court. They'll make sure everyone plays. They help pick up all the trash. They help clean up the courts. Again, they help monitor the play, which is huge. When I was referencing, I went to Madeline Noonan just before she took another position, just saying, hey, this is what we have, the number of players. But at the time, we built these courts for tennis and for pickleball. So it was kind of hard in the first year to say, oh, we have to exclude tennis players. But they are correct when in their agreement it does say when a tennis player shows up, they have to recede from those extra courts. So if someone comes up, they have to finish their games and then they have to take away. But like they said, if someone's playing on one of the tennis courts, they have to move 4 pickleball courts. So you go from having maybe 64 pickleball players playing down to 48. And when you have 130 people there, that's a challenge for maybe only 2 tennis players or 4 tennis players. And granted, yes, we want tennis players to play too. But there is to be something to be said about the number of pickleball players. So I did ask them over the winter to get me numbers so then I can go to the interim community service director to give them that data to say, hey, maybe we need another year or maybe we could proceed for next summer. But I just couldn't, have it change without any really information. So, but they are phenomenal to work with. I was playing a lot, but my schedule changed when I became the director, so I don't play as much anymore. But they are fun to work with and they're fun to play with. They're really great people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. All right. Up next, we have our recreation staff report by Mr. John Gleason.
All right. I think Mark and I talked earlier. We didn't provide much because we knew we had the award ceremony tonight, plus a meeting to follow us. So I just made some basic bullet points. For the month of June, really attended the leisure program and aquatic orientations. Kind of new for me not being in charge of the beaches outright. So George Noonan was here earlier and Kelly Crowley, who couldn't make it tonight. They're kind of now in charge of the beaches. Obviously, I oversee them, but just make sure that their orientations went well. And I spoke to the leisure program counselors to make sure that they were going to have a great summer. We installed some new tennis nets at BWB. So we did get some complaints about the wear and tear of those nets. So we bought some new ones and installed those up, and I've already received compliments through phone calls or emails about those new nets. And then didn't really think about it, but then when I went to a field, I still saw our COVID-19 signs were up at all the athletic fields. So I don't think, Tim, you were on the commission at that point, but we had guidelines specifically for COVID for allowed use of athletic facilities, and we had to follow to the T guidelines for baseball or for you name it. And it was very difficult, but we managed. But still, some of those signs were all up at our fields, and I'm pretty sure like 99% of them are now down. So those signage are not up there. I went to a lot of the elementary schools, tennis courts, wherever we kind of had these signs up. I'm pretty sure I got most of them down. I'll do one more check throughout the summer, but I'm confident that they're all down. So it's kind of nice that, not that COVID is gone, but it's something that we're living through and kids can play and no problems there. As you know, the month of June is a big aquatics month for us. We started our full-time operation with all our lifeguards, gate attendants, beach aides, supervisors on June 24th. Currently, we have lifeguards at Veterans, Calmus, Colville's, Craigville, Dowsett, and Loop. And we added Loop about almost a week later than we opened it full time. We had a lot of kids trickle in after the fact that we're certified lifeguards. So then we were able to change that on the schedule and add Loop. But just for anyone in the community, we can only staff the beaches that we have the guards for, and we have to maintain safer environments at those locations. And we need to have a core group of staff to work there. And we were able to do that and then add Loop. But we learned a couple years ago that you just can't make it on the numbers. Sometimes you have to have 1 or 2 extra here or there, because if someone calls in sick, someone quits, someone unfortunately gets fired, if we don't have some extra numbers here or there, then we're getting down to numbers that aren't really maybe safe. So we made sure that all our spots were good this year, and then once that was fine and these extra kids came in, we added Loop. But we have other staff like gate attendants at all the locations, so all bathrooms are open. We're checking stickers at all our locations, and so far things are going well. To date, just so you're aware, we sold over 20,500 parking permits for the season. That's right around par from what we've done in the past. And believe it or not, they are still coming in, and we're still processing those on a daily basis. And we process those on a first come, first served basis. So someone applies online, we get to theirs in order that they apply. Same with mail-ins. We go through the mail-in by date, we do them and then mail them out to people where they can come pick them up. And last but not least, kind of in the aquatic world, if you've been by Dallas Beach, last year someone drove onto the beach and clipped our big shade canopy. We have one at Craigville and one at Dallas. And we used the remaining money we had of the Glenna Cole Fund. So Glenna Cole was a former lifeguard for us. Unfortunately, she passed away from melanoma skin cancer. So after that, her family were raising awareness and would do 5Ks. They'd do pig roasts. They would do other things. And they bought shade canopies for our lifeguard towers. They would buy sunscreen for the bathhouse when public's going to the beach, which we still have in our bathhouses. People can get sunscreen. And they bought those big shade structures. So we had a little bit of money left in that, and then we used some other money to redo the one at Dallas because it was broken. So we fixed that. And I would advise people not to drive on the beach. Those shade structures are really expensive, and we just can't afford to replace those all the time. So we're lucky we had some funds this year, but that's not something we can do all the time. And then just program-wise, when the school ends, a lot of our staff are planning for programs. So program-wise, it was, kind of end of June was kind of planning and preparing time of season. Michelle Davies had her her leisure program orientation. It's a multiple day orientation to go over all the rules and procedures. Michelle Davies does a phenomenal job. We have one of the best, summer programs in the state, bar none. Michelle does a phenomenal job organizing those kids, and they by the end of the year, which I'll probably report in September, those kids leave that program in tears because they're so upset that they're done for the summer because they bond so much with each other and have such a great experience. So that was good. We had our summer volleyball program with Coach Turco, another successful summer. Our numbers were slightly down a little bit, but some stuff that we can change on our own, marketing more and stuff like that, because usually we try to have this on a standalone week where there's no sailing lessons, swimming lessons, school just gets out, really the only game in town. We just got to do more job like advertising it, because Coach Turco, if you don't know who he is like the John Wooden back in the day of UCLA. He's like Red Auerbach. Gino Ariema, his winning percentage for high school volleyball is like 91%. He's won 18 state championships and is just a phenomenal person, phenomenal coach. Lucky that my oldest child plays for him. And it's just a great experience. And, would love to keep building this program back up to what it used to be. We used to have, in the heyday, about 220 girls and boys. But with COVID and some other things, we're not quite there. So we build it back up again. And then, like I said, a lot of our program staff was planning and preparing for their summer programs, like arts and crafts, dance, gymnastics. We have a new wiffle ball class. All those things, they were just buying their equipment, getting their lesson plan squared away. So when the kids arrive on the first day, we already have a plan of attack, what they're doing, and not winging it. So our staff is really good about preparing themselves. So when the kids arrive, they're ready to go. So that was kind of it for the month for me. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thanks, John. Up next, we have Mr. Mark Bordley with the HYCC staff report.
Thank you. And as John said, we tried to make it quick this evening. But I'll go over a few of the highlights. On administrative side, our RFP for the HYCC concession closed on July 6th. I believe there's 6 applicants that'll be moved to a review process. I know you guys were wondering about that, so hopefully I'll have some more news next month. On the ice news, we have our summer learn to skate sessions have started. I can get back to you with some numbers on that, but I think the first week started and we're getting some more kids trickling in now. We have 4 weekly summer hockey camps that are off to a great start. Plus, we added some new clinics and training nightly through Cape Cod Hockey. All that's going real well this summer, so that's good to report. In the gym, we had the junior Barnstable basketball clinic with 48 participants. Coach Taylor and his staff did a phenomenal job. That was the first week out of school. And then we have started our summer high school volleyball league with 5 JV teams and 8 varsity teams from across the Cape on Tuesday and Thursday nights for the next 6 weeks. They'll be competing in the gym. Those are really the highlights, and if you have any questions, I'm here.
Any questions? Nope. All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, up next, any matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair? I don't think so. Next, public comment. Doesn't seem to be anybody here, so I don't think we have any of that. Next month's agenda items. I'm relaying the message that next month, August, we're going to bypass the meeting to prepare for a road trip to some of the facilities. So I know Renee King, who's our chair, who couldn't be here today, is in the middle of setting that up. So we'll all be hearing what the plan is for that. So there'll be no meeting next month. The next meeting will be on September 11th, which is Monday, September 11th. The 4th being Labor Day.
Again, for context, we have a lot of new people. Every so many years, the Rec Commission would do road trips to various facilities, and I think Renee wanted to possibly highlight some of the successes over the years, so you guys can see what your voice can do for the Rec Division or the HYCC to help us get some of these projects funded. And then we could also, I think then the other trip would be to maybe some places that could use that attention, again, to be that voice, because I know that voice is going to be really important over the next, next 10 to 20 years, because we have to compete with the CWMP project. I know a lot of money will be funded for that, so money for fields and skate parks or water, water park type stuff, will be hard to come by. So, we really would love to, show you those locations. So, when it comes time to get those funds, that we would have the support to get that.
When is that road trip typically?
To be honest, I was just the assistant director or program coordinator prior to, so I've never been on a road trip. So it'll be.
Okay.
I knew that they happened.
Okay.
I think typically they were maybe in the spring, but there's no rhyme or reason of when we can do things. I mean, typically, I think when they start voting on these things, happen in the winter months. So to go out in the fall is not a bad thing to get all that stuff. So then when it comes time to the winter time to talk to people in town, we've already done it, instead of doing it in the spring and have to wait the whole time into the winter time. But I think typically they've done a lot of sites, but I think this is going to be like a pared down visit. So we're not going to every single recreational property in the town, because that would be a lot. I think they just wanted to pick some highlighted locations to make it manageable for everyone. And I think in the past too, everyone met at the Highness Youth and Community Center, jumped in our 15 passenger vans, and we went out together. So I think we're just waiting on Renee to kind of work with Mark or myself to, kind of finalize that. But it's really, we kind of go off of what, Renee's guidance would be. It's your commission. Kind of wait to hear back from Renee, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think what you said is exactly right. She's, it'll be kind of put together quickly, so it wouldn't be a full, tour of the town. And I think it would be great for. I haven't participated in one either, so I think it would be great for all of us to get out there and see what's going on. All right, so with that, I guess that's the end. We're going to adjourn, and so do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
And a second?
Second.
All right, great.
I think you all have to vote on that.
Yes, we have to vote on that as well. Tony? Yes. Alyssa?
Yes.
And Sharon?
Yes.
And I am a yes. And with that, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. All right.